Welcome to Not So Boring History. Tonight, as the world quiets down, let your mind drift back through time. Get comfortable, settle in, and let the noise of the day fade away. We're about to unfold a story, not just to learn, but to feel. Because history isn't boring, not when you listen closely.
Imagine yourself drifting on a cloud, high above the golden sands of Egypt. Below, the life-giving Nile River snakes its way through the landscape, a shimmering ribbon of blue against the ochre hues of the desert. This is the beginning of our journey, a slow and peaceful exploration of a world long past. The sun, a warm and gentle presence, bathes the land in a golden light. Feel its warmth on your face as you float effortlessly, observing the scene unfold below. The air is still and quiet, broken only by the occasional call of a bird or the soft rustling of reeds along the riverbank. The Nile is more than just a river. It is the very heart of Egypt. For thousands of years, its waters have nourished the land, providing life and sustenance to its people. Each year, the river swells with the monsoon rains, flooding the plains and leaving behind a rich layer of silt, perfect for growing crops. Think of the ancient Egyptians watching this annual cycle, understanding its rhythm and depending on its bounty. The river's ebb and flow mirrored their own lives, a constant reminder of the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. They saw the same pattern in the sun's daily journey across the sky and in the changing seasons. This deep connection to the natural world shaped their beliefs and their way of life. The Nile wasn't just a source of water. It was a sacred entity, a powerful god to be revered and respected. They believed that the river's spirit flowed through all living things, connecting them to the past, present, and future. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the sound of the water, a gentle, continuous murmur that has echoed through the ages. Hear the lapping of the waves against the shore, the rustling of the papyrus reeds, and the distant songs of the boatmen as they guide their vessels along the river. The Nile was also a highway, a vital artery that connected the different regions of Egypt. Boats laden with goods traveled up and down the river, carrying everything from grain and pottery to precious stones and timber. It was a bustling waterway, a place of trade, communication, and cultural exchange. As we drift along, consider the weight of history that lies beneath the surface of the sand. Generations of Egyptians have lived and died along this river, leaving behind their mark on the land. Their stories are etched into the stones of the temples, whispered on the wind, and carried in the gentle flow of the Nile. It's a long history filled with both triumph and hardship. The river remains a constant, flowing through it all. It is time to let go and drift deeper. Now, as the sun climbs higher in the sky, let your gaze drift towards the horizon. There, rising majestically from the sands, are the pyramids, colossal monuments to the pharaohs, the rulers of this ancient land. These structures, built of massive stone blocks, stand as a testament to the power and authority of the pharaohs. Imagine the sheer scale of these projects, the countless hours of labor, the unwavering dedication required to bring them to life. Each pyramid was a symbol of the pharaoh's divine status, a stairway to the heavens, ensuring their eternal life. They cast long shadows across the land, a constant reminder of the pharaoh's presence. The pharaoh was not just a king. He was considered a god on earth, the intermediary between the mortal realm and the divine. His word was law, and his power was absolute. He controlled the land, the resources, and the lives of his people. Think about how this immense power would have affected the lives of ordinary Egyptians. While the pharaoh lived in luxury and splendor, most people toiled in the fields, workshops, or construction sites. They paid taxes, served in the army, and dedicated a portion of their time to building the pharaoh's monuments. Yet, even under the shadow of the pharaoh's power, life went on. People found joy in their families, took pride in their work, and sought solace in their faith. The human spirit, resilient and adaptable, found ways to flourish even in the most challenging circumstances. Consider the farmers who work the land, their lives dictated by the seasons and the rhythm of the Nile. They knew that their hard work would not only sustain their families, but also contribute to the prosperity of the kingdom. They saw the pharaoh as a guarantor of stability, someone who ensured the continued flow of the Nile and the abundance of the harvest. And there were the artisans, skilled craftsmen who created beautiful objects for the pharaoh, the temples, and their own homes. Their work was a form of self-expression, a way to leave their mark on the world. They took pride in their skills and passed them down from generation to generation. So, while the pharaoh's power loomed large, it did not define the entirety of Egyptian life. Ordinary people found meaning and purpose in their daily routines, their families, and their communities. They created a rich and vibrant culture that continues to fascinate us today. The pyramids are impressive, but the human spirit is even more so. Let's drift closer and listen to the echoes of their daily lives. The sun now peaks over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of soft pink and orange. The air is cool and crisp, carrying the scent of freshly turned earth. It is the start of a new day, a day filled with work, family, and the simple rhythms of life. Imagine waking up in a small, mud brick home, the walls cool against your skin. The first light of dawn streams through the doorway, illuminating the simple interior. A small fire crackles on the hearth, warming a pot of porridge. Outside, the village begins to stir. Farmers emerge from their homes, carrying their tools and heading towards the fields. The sound of their voices, low and gentle, drifts on the morning air. Children chase each other through the narrow streets, their laughter echoing through the village. The fields are a patchwork of green and brown, stretching as far as the eye can see. Farmers tend to their crops with care, knowing that their livelihood depends on a successful harvest. They work in groups, sharing the labor and supporting each other through the long, hot days. Listen to the sounds of the fields, the rhythmic swish of the scythe, the gentle rustling of the wheat, and the distant calls of birds. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, the soft earth beneath your feet, and the sense of connection to the land. As the day progresses, the sun climbs higher, and the heat intensifies. The farmers take breaks in the shade of trees, sharing water and stories. They talk about their families, their hopes, and their fears. They find strength in their community and comfort in their shared experiences. The women of the village are busy with their own tasks. They grind grain, bake bread, weave cloth, and care for their children. Their days are filled with hard work, but they find joy in their families and satisfaction in their contributions to the community. Imagine the smell of freshly baked bread wafting through the village, the sound of children playing, and the feeling of warmth and belonging that permeates the air. These are the simple pleasures of life, the things that make it worth living, even under the shadow of the pharaoh. Even the smallest actions, like tending a garden or sharing a meal, are acts of resilience, affirmations of life in a world where power can feel overwhelming. The sun continues its arc across the sky, marking the passage of time, the steady rhythm of life continuing its course day after day. Let's follow the sun and see where it leads us next. Now, let's turn our attention to the heart of the Egyptian home. These dwellings, built from the earth itself, offered shelter and comfort from the harsh desert climate. Imagine the walls, thick and cool, providing respite from the scorching sun. Inside, the homes were simple but functional. A central room served as the main living space, with smaller rooms branching off for sleeping and storage. Woven mats covered the floors, and simple wooden furniture provided seating and storage. Family life revolved around the hearth, the center of the home. Here, meals were prepared, stories were told, and families gathered to share their day. The flickering flames provided warmth and light, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Think of the sounds of family life, the gentle murmur of conversations, the laughter of children, and the clatter of cooking utensils. The home was a sanctuary, a place of love, support, and belonging. The family was the cornerstone of Egyptian society. Children were cherished and taught the skills they would need to survive and thrive. Parents worked hard to provide for their families, instilling in their children the values of hard work, honesty, and respect. Grandparents played an important role in the family, sharing their wisdom and experience with the younger generations. They told stories of the past, passing down the traditions and beliefs that had shaped their culture. Imagine the comfort of being surrounded by family, the feeling of being loved and supported, and the sense of continuity that came from knowing your place in the world. These were the things that gave ordinary Egyptians strength and resilience in the face of adversity. Even in times of hardship, families pulled together, sharing their resources and supporting each other through difficult times. They knew that they were stronger together than they were alone. The home was not just a physical structure. It was a symbol of family, community, and continuity. It was a place where memories were made, traditions were passed down, and the human spirit was nurtured. The sun continues its journey across the sky, casting long shadows over the village. As the day draws to a close, families gather in their homes, sharing a simple meal and reflecting on the day's events. The home provides a sense of peace, a safe haven from the outside world. Let's linger here a moment longer and appreciate the warmth of family and the simple comforts of home. As the sun starts to set, we can start moving to the next place. Now, let's listen to the rhythmic sounds of the artisans at work. These skilled craftspeople played a vital role in Egyptian society, creating everything from simple tools and pottery to elaborate jewelry and funerary objects. Imagine the potter, his hands covered in clay, shaping a lump of earth into a beautiful vessel. He sits at his wheel, spinning the clay with his feet, his hands moving with practiced ease. The clay responds to his touch, taking on the desired form. Hear the gentle whir of the wheel, the soft thud of the potter's hands against the clay, and the quiet concentration of the artisan at work. He is not just creating an object, he is expressing his creativity, his skill, and his connection to the earth. The weaver sits at her loom, her fingers flying across the threads, creating intricate patterns and designs. She uses natural dyes to color the linen, creating vibrant tapestries and clothing. Think of the patience and precision required to weave such intricate designs. Each thread is carefully placed, each color thoughtfully chosen. The weaver is not just creating a piece of cloth. She is telling a story, preserving a tradition, and expressing her artistic vision. The carpenter works with wood, shaping it into furniture, tools, and boats. He uses simple tools, but his skill and knowledge allow him to create objects of great beauty and functionality. Hear the rhythmic chop of the axe, the smooth glide of the plane, and the satisfying click of the chisel. The carpenter is not just creating an object. He is transforming a raw material into something useful and beautiful. These artisans took pride in their work, knowing that their creations would be used and appreciated for generations to come. They were not just laborers. They were artists, storytellers, and keepers of tradition. Their work provided not only practical goods, but also added beauty and meaning to everyday life. From the simplest pot to the most elaborate tomb painting, the artisans of Egypt left behind a legacy of creativity and skill. Their artistry helped to shape their world. As the sun dips lower in the sky, the artisans begin to pack up their tools, their work for the day complete. They return to their homes, their hearts filled with satisfaction and pride. Let's follow the setting sun and see what the night brings. As darkness descends, let's turn our thoughts to the ever-present influence of faith in the lives of ordinary Egyptians. They believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses, each with their own powers and responsibilities. These deities were not distant figures. They were an integral part of daily life, influencing everything from the weather to the harvest. Imagine the small household shrines, adorned with images of the gods and offerings of food and flowers. These were places of personal devotion, where families could connect with the divine and seek guidance and protection. The most important gods included Ra, the sun god, Osiris, the god of the afterlife, Isis, the goddess of motherhood and magic, and Horus, the falcon-headed god of kingship. Each god had their own temples and priests, who performed rituals and ceremonies to honor them and ensure their continued favor. Think of the festivals and celebrations that marked the religious calendar. These were times of great joy and community, when people came together to honor the gods, sing hymns, and participate in processions and rituals. The belief in the afterlife was central to Egyptian religion. They believed that after death, the soul would journey to the underworld, where it would be judged by Osiris. If the soul was found worthy, it would be granted eternal life in the field of reeds, a paradise similar to the earthly world. This belief in the afterlife influenced every aspect of Egyptian life, from the elaborate tombs and funerary rituals to the moral code that governed their behavior. They believed that their actions in this life would determine their fate in the next. Imagine the comforting feeling of knowing that death was not the end, but a transition to a new and better existence. This belief gave ordinary Egyptians hope and strength in the face of hardship and adversity. Even under the rule of ruthless pharaohs, their faith provided solace and meaning. It offered a framework for understanding the world, a set of values to live by, and a promise of eternal life. The gods were always present, watching over them, guiding them, and offering them hope. Let's rest here and listen to the quiet prayers that rise into the night sky. The stars begin to appear, and the world grows still. Evenings could sometimes bring hardship. Imagine years where the Nile did not flood as much as it should. The land would stay dry, and the crops would not grow as well. This meant less food for everyone. These were times of famine, where people had to share what little they had and hope for better days. Sometimes, the pharaohs would demand more taxes from the people. This meant that farmers had to give up a larger portion of their harvest, leaving them with even less to feed their families. These taxes were used to build the great monuments and temples, projects that glorified the pharaoh but often burdened the common people. Think of the worry and uncertainty that these times brought. Families struggled to make ends meet, and the future seemed uncertain. Yet, even in these difficult times, the spirit of the Egyptian people remained strong. They relied on each other for support, sharing their food and resources with those in need. They worked together to find solutions to their problems, innovating new ways to irrigate the land and conserve water. They also turned to their faith for comfort and guidance. They prayed to the gods for relief from their suffering and for a return to prosperity. They believed that if they remained faithful and resilient, the gods would eventually answer their prayers. Imagine the strength it took to face these challenges with courage and determination. The ordinary Egyptians were not passive victims of circumstance. They were active agents in their own lives, fighting for their survival and the well-being of their families. Even when faced with famine and heavy taxation, they found ways to persevere. They adapted to the changing conditions, learned new skills, and supported each other through difficult times. Their resilience is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. These seasons of hardship remind us that life is not always easy, but that even in the darkest of times, hope and resilience can prevail. The Egyptian people, with their unwavering spirit and their deep connection to their community and their faith, were able to weather even the most challenging storms. The stars still shine, even on the darkest nights. Let's keep looking up and remember the strength that lies within. We can now start drifting to the next key point. Now, let us wander into the heart of a bustling marketplace. The air is thick with the smells of spices, fruits, and freshly baked bread. The sounds of bartering and chatter fill the air, creating a vibrant and energetic atmosphere. Imagine the colorful stalls, overflowing with goods from all corners of Egypt and beyond. Merchants hawk their wares, trying to attract customers with their persuasive voices and enticing displays. Farmers sell their crops, artisans display their crafts, and traders offer exotic goods from distant lands. The marketplace is a melting pot of cultures and commodities, a place where people come together to exchange goods, ideas, and stories. Think of the vibrant colors of the textiles, the sweet smell of dates and figs, and the rhythmic beat of drums as musicians entertain the crowds. The marketplace is a feast for the senses, a place where you can immerse yourself in the sights, sounds, and smells of ancient Egypt. Ordinary Egyptians came to the marketplace to buy and sell goods, to socialize, and to catch up on the latest news. It was a place to connect with their community and to participate in the economic life of the kingdom. They bartered for necessities like food, clothing, and tools, carefully negotiating the price to get the best deal. They also traded for luxuries like jewelry, perfumes, and fine fabrics, adding a touch of beauty and elegance to their lives. Imagine the lively conversations, the friendly banter, and the sense of camaraderie that permeated the marketplace. It was a place where people from all walks of life came together, united by their shared need to trade and connect. Even under the watchful eye of the pharaoh, the marketplace thrived as a center of economic and social activity. It was a place where ordinary Egyptians could exercise their agency, make their own choices, and contribute to the prosperity of their community. The marketplace reminds us that even in societies with rigid hierarchies, there's always room for individual initiative and economic exchange. The Egyptian people, with their ingenuity and their entrepreneurial spirit, were able to create a vibrant and dynamic marketplace that served their needs and enriched their lives. The sun is setting and the market slowly quiets down. The sky is filled with colors. Time to rest before another day starts. Let's slowly drift to the next key point. As the stars begin to twinkle in the night sky, imagine families gathering together after a long day. The air is cool and still, and the only sounds are the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of crickets. This is the time for stories, for sharing the legends and myths that have been passed down through generations. These stories were not just entertainment. They were a way to preserve their history, their values, and their beliefs. Think of the tales of the gods and goddesses, of Ra's daily journey across the sky, of Osiris's resurrection, and of Isis's magical powers. These stories explain the world around them, giving meaning to the cycles of nature and the events of human life. There were also stories of heroes and heroines, of brave warriors and wise rulers, who embodied the ideals of Egyptian society. These stories inspired people to be courageous, honest, and compassionate. Imagine the children listening intently, their eyes wide with wonder as the storyteller weaves tales of faraway lands, mythical creatures, and epic battles. These stories shaped their imaginations, instilled in them a sense of pride in their heritage, and taught them important lessons about life. The oral tradition was vital in a society where literacy was limited. It was the primary way that knowledge, history, and culture were transmitted from one generation to the next. The storytellers were respected members of the community, entrusted with the responsibility of preserving and sharing these important stories. Even under the rule of pharaohs, these stories provided a sense of continuity and connection to the past. They reminded the people that they were part of something larger than themselves, a long and unbroken chain of tradition and culture. The stories of ancient Egypt continue to fascinate us today, offering a glimpse into the minds and hearts of a people who lived thousands of years ago. They remind us of the power of stories to shape our understanding of the world, to connect us to our past, and to inspire us to live meaningful lives. The night deepens and the stars shine brighter. The stories fade into the silence. Time to rest. Let's drift into the next key point. Now, let us gently turn our thoughts to the Egyptian beliefs about what happens after we leave this world. For the ordinary Egyptians, the afterlife was not just a distant concept. It was an extension of their earthly lives, a place where they hoped to find peace and eternal happiness. Imagine the preparations for the journey to the afterlife. Loved ones carefully preserve the body, wrapping it in linen bandages and placing it in a decorated coffin. They filled the tomb with food, clothing, tools, and other items that the deceased would need in the next world. Think of the elaborate rituals and ceremonies performed by priests to ensure the safe passage of the soul to the underworld. These rituals involve prayers, hymns, and offerings to the gods, all designed to appease them and gain their favor. The journey to the underworld was fraught with peril. The The soul had to navigate treacherous landscapes, overcome dangerous obstacles, and answer difficult questions posed by the gods. But the ultimate test was the weighing of the heart. The heart, believed to be the seat of the soul, was placed on one side of a scale, and a feather, representing truth and justice, was placed on the other. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the soul was deemed worthy of eternal life. If not, it was devoured by a monstrous beast. Imagine the relief and joy of a soul that had successfully passed the test, gaining entrance to the field of reeds, a paradise where they could live in peace and abundance forever. This belief in the afterlife gave ordinary Egyptians comfort and hope, helping them to cope with the hardships and uncertainties of life. It motivated them to live virtuous lives, to treat others with kindness and compassion, and to prepare themselves for the journey to the next world. Even under the rule of ruthless pharaohs, the promise of eternal life provided solace and meaning. It reminded them that their lives had purpose and value, and that their actions would have consequences beyond the grave. The moon hangs high, casting a soft glow over the land. Let's rest, knowing that even in darkness, there is hope. We can now slowly drift to the next key point. Even amidst the towering monuments built by pharaohs and the powerful influence they wielded, it's important to remember the heart of ancient Egypt, the enduring spirit of its people. They were more than just subjects or laborers. They were individuals with dreams, families, and a deep connection to their culture. Think of their creativity expressed in the intricate designs of their pottery, the vibrant colors of their textiles, and the skillful craftsmanship of their tools and furniture. They found ways to express themselves, to leave their mark on the world, and to add beauty and meaning to their lives. Remember their resilience, their ability to persevere through hardship and adversity. They faced famine, heavy taxation, and the constant presence of a powerful ruler, yet they never gave up hope. They supported each other, innovated new solutions, and turned to their faith for comfort and guidance. Consider their humanity, their capacity for love, compassion, and community. They cherished their families, honored their ancestors, and cared for those in need. They created a society where everyone felt a sense of belonging and where everyone had a role to play. Their enduring spirit is a testament to the strength of the human heart, its ability to find joy, meaning, and connection even in the most challenging circumstances. The ordinary Egyptians, with their creativity, their resilience, and their humanity, left behind a legacy that continues to inspire us today. Even under the weight of a powerful pharaoh, the daily acts of kindness, creativity, and community were what truly defined their lives and allowed them to not just survive, but to thrive. Let's keep their spirit in mind and remember that our actions today will have an impact on generations to come. It is time to drift to our final stages of the journey. The stars are brilliant, and the night is silent, except for the soft murmur of the wind. As we prepare to return to the present, let's carry with us the lessons we have learned from the ordinary Egyptians. We can move to the next point and start our descent. Now, let your thoughts return to the Nile, that ever-present lifeline that sustained ancient Egypt. Imagine its gentle flow, its waters reflecting the stars and the moon. The Nile was more than just a river. It was a symbol of life, continuity, and the eternal rhythm of existence. Think of the way the river shaped the landscape, carving out fertile valleys and creating a pathway for trade and communication. It was the source of their abundance, providing water for their crops, fish for their tables, and a means of transportation for their goods. Remember the way the Nile connected the Egyptians to their past, their present, and their future. Its annual floods reminded them of the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Its steady flow symbolized the enduring spirit of their culture. Imagine the soothing sound of the water, the gentle lapping of the waves against the shore, and the rhythmic murmur of the current. The Nile was a constant presence in their lives, a source of comfort and inspiration. Even under the rule of ruthless pharaohs, the Nile continued to flow, providing sustenance and hope to the ordinary Egyptians. It was a reminder that even in the face of adversity, life would go on, and that the cycles of nature would continue. As we prepare to leave ancient Egypt behind, let us carry with us the image of the Nile, its waters flowing eternally onward. Let it remind us of the power of nature, the importance of community, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The Nile's embrace reminds us of the flow of life, always changing, always moving forward. It's time to start descending and prepare for our return. Let's take one final moment to appreciate the peacefulness of the night, the beauty of the landscape, and the wisdom of the ancient Egyptians. The journey is almost over. One more point, and we'll be back. Let the water lull you to sleep. As the final vestiges of daylight fade, and the stars become even more brilliant, the Egyptian landscape transforms. The air cools, and the sounds of the day give way to the gentle orchestra of the night. Imagine the desert sands shimmering under the moonlight, the pyramids casting long, mysterious shadows, and the Nile reflecting the starlit sky like a celestial mirror. The world feels peaceful and serene, as if holding its breath in anticipation of the dawn. The sounds of the night are subtle but distinct. The chirping of crickets, the hooting of owls, and the occasional howl of a jackal create a soothing symphony that lulls you into a state of relaxation. Think of the ancient Egyptians settling into their homes after a long day of work. They would gather with their families, share stories, and prepare for sleep. The night was a time for rest, reflection, and rejuvenation. Even under the watchful eye of the pharaoh, the night offered a sense of freedom and escape. It was a time to connect with nature, to contemplate the mysteries of the universe, and to find solace in the darkness. Imagine the feeling of lying down on a comfortable mat, the cool air caressing your skin, and the sound of the Nile lulling you to sleep. The night was a time for healing, for restoring your energy, and for preparing yourself for the challenges of the next day. As we prepare to return to the present, let us carry with us the peace and tranquility of the Egyptian night. Let it remind us of the importance of rest, reflection, and connection with nature. Let the darkness be a source of comfort, not fear. The night is a time for dreams, for letting your imagination soar, and for finding inspiration in the stillness and quiet. As you drift off to sleep, remember the enduring spirit of the ordinary Egyptians, their resilience, their creativity, and their humanity. Let it inspire you to live a meaningful life, to connect with your community, and to find joy in the simple things. Let's get ready to go back to our time. The sounds of modern life start to fade in, a gentle transition back to our own world. Just a little further now. Feel yourself drifting lighter and lighter. Soon we'll be back. The soft sound of your breathing, the gentle beat of your heart are the only sounds that remain. It's time to rest. We are almost there. One last step. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've taken, the sights we've seen, and the stories we've heard. We've explored the lives of ordinary Egyptians, their daily routines, their families, their communities, their beliefs, and their struggles. We've seen how they found joy in the simple things, how they supported each other through difficult times, and how they maintained their spirit even under the rule of ruthless pharaohs. We've learned that even in societies with rigid hierarchies and immense power structures, the human spirit can flourish. The ordinary Egyptians, with their creativity, their resilience, and their humanity, left behind a legacy that continues to inspire us today. Let us carry with us the lessons we have learned from them. Let us remember the importance of community, the power of kindness, and the enduring strength of the human heart. As we drift further and further away from ancient Egypt, let the image of the Nile, its waters flowing eternally onward, remain in our minds. Let remind us of the cycles of life, the importance of connection, and the enduring power of nature. And as we prepare to return to the present, let us carry with us the peace and tranquility of the Egyptian night, the gentle sounds of nature, and the feeling of calm and serenity. These are the things that will help us to sleep soundly and to wake up refreshed and ready to face the challenges of a new day. Remember, even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. The stars continue to shine, the sun will rise again, and the human spirit will always endure. Close your eyes and let yourself drift off to sleep, knowing that you are loved, you are supported, and you are part of something larger than yourself. The sounds of our world are becoming more clear now. You can hear the gentle hum of the refrigerator, the soft ticking of a clock, or perhaps the distant sound of traffic. These are the sounds of home, the sounds of comfort, and the sounds of peace. Relax and let yourself drift off to sleep. You are safe, you are loved, and you are home. Sweet dreams. We have one more key point, but the story is almost complete. We can make it all the way. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath, the soft beating of your heart. You are safe, you are loved, and you are home. Let go of any worries or anxieties and allow yourself to drift deeper and deeper into sleep. Remember the strength and resilience of the ordinary Egyptians. They faced challenges, they endured hardships, but they never lost their spirit. Let their example inspire you to face your own challenges with courage and determination. Remember the importance of community, the power of kindness, and the beauty of connection. Reach out to those around you, offer your support, and create a world where everyone feels a sense of belonging. Remember the power of stories, the beauty of art, and the importance of preserving our history and culture. Share your stories, express your creativity, and honor the legacy of those who came before you. And remember the ever-flowing Nile, the symbol of life, continuity, and the enduring power of nature. Connect with the natural world, appreciate its beauty, and protect its resources for future generations. As you drift off to sleep, let these thoughts fill your mind with peace, tranquility, and hope. You are part of a long and unbroken chain of humanity, a legacy of resilience, creativity, and love. Let the darkness embrace you. Let the stars watch over you, and let the gentle sounds of the night lull you into a deep and restful sleep. You are safe, you are loved, and you are home. Good night. The world is quiet, the stars are shining, and you are ready to rest. We're almost at the end. Keep focusing on your breath, letting go of all tension, all thoughts. Simply allow yourself to drift further and further. The sound of my voice will slowly fade now. Everything is well. You are loved. The air around you is still. Your body is heavy. It is time to sleep. You have journeyed far, and now it is time to rest. Feel yourself sinking deeper and deeper. We have almost arrived. Let your thoughts go. Let your body rest. Let sleep embrace you. The end is near. We are home. Good night. And now, let the gentle sounds of the night embrace you. Let the music carry you away. Let your mind drift and let your body relax. Imagine yourself floating on a cloud, drifting effortlessly through the night sky. The stars are twinkling above you. The moon is shining brightly, and the world below is peaceful and still. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the mattress, the softness of the pillows supporting your head, and the warmth of the blankets enveloping you. You are safe, you are comfortable, and you are loved. Let go of any remaining tension in your muscles, any lingering thoughts in your mind, and any worries in your heart. You are free to rest, to rejuvenate, and to dream.